Welcome. In this video, special guest WEB-WARRIOR Fanatic and I casually evaluate allies from the X-Men releases. So this is something new I'm doing. I brought a guest on here, so I'd like you to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi everybody, I am the WEB-WARRIOR Fanatic. I love Web Warriors, but today we're not going to be looking at any Web Warrior allies, unfortunately. Just the newest allies from Wave 8 from Age of Apocalypse for Marvel Champions. And yeah, what I do on my channel, I do a little bit of tier list stuff like this, but mostly I just play a bunch of playthroughs, heavily inspired by Dale, the casual gamer. I am a lot more new to the game, so I've only been playing for about like a year and a half, but watching his videos was a big inspiration to me.
Yep, and we just met on the channel or through YouTube and started building a relationship here. So make sure you go to his channel and check out his content there. Before we get into this list, I just wanted to say Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is releasing next month, and I'll be in Connecticut at the Portal Game Shop. If you want to come by on that, that is February 21st and 22nd. I'll play some games, and also special guest Tony Fanchi, who is one of the designers of Marvel Champions, to be there. So if you're in that area, make sure you stop by and say hello. And with that, I'll let you explain what those letters mean on the side and how this game will be going.
Okay, so basically, we're going to be ranking all the allies here from Age of Apocalypse from the wave here for this mutant wave from Marvel Champions. And we have S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, and D tier. And we're just going to be ranking the allies what we think the tier is. But to make things a little bit more interesting, me and Dale, we're going to take turns ranking an ally. And we'll give our reasoning for why the ally is there or not. And the other player can either skip their turn to move the ally that the previous player ranked up one or down one, or they can rank a new ally. And we have 32 allies here from this Wave 8. And yeah, we're pretty much just going to take turns. And after an ally has been already ranked, if the next player does not move it, that ally is going to be stuck in that spot forever. So we cannot move it after that. Me and Dale have similar playstyles. So maybe this will be a very pacifistic type of agreement here where we pretty much just agree on every ally. But hopefully there will be a few that we disagree on. And hopefully at the end of this list, both me and Dale will be satisfied with our overall tier ranking for these allies. And we want to hear what you guys think too, if you guys agree with our rankings of these cards. But this is entirely just our opinions. Nothing here is a fact, but we are going to be ranked the ally by how strong we think they are and how good of a card they are, not by how much we like the ally. So even though we may like them a lot, we may rank them lower if we think that they're not that good of a card.
Yep, and like I said, this is all for fun. Me, myself, as everyone knows on my channel here, I'm just now getting back into this. So a lot of these I haven't played, and from our previous discussion, there's some on this list you haven't played. So we're just reading the text and kind of doing this for fun, to see where we think they might go, and you can let us know where we're right and where we're wrong, or vice versa. We'll let you know where you're wrong. No. All right, well, as the guest, I'll let you decide if you want to start us off or if you want me to take the first shot.
Okay, I think you should take the first shot, Dale, because I'm a little bit nervous.
Yeah, me too. Well, I'm just going to start at the front. I know we can probably start anywhere, but yeah, I'm going straight with Beak. So he's a 2-cost ally with 2 health, 4-1 attack of 1 response after you're playing from your hand. Remove a threat from a scheme for each X-Men ally you control. So as most people know, in my deck builds, I like having at least 6 allies, and if they cost 2, that's a super good bonus. So I'm already inclined to put him in here. But if you're in the X-Men set, putting this guy in, working your deck around, just putting him in play to potentially remove 3 threats from a scheme seems pretty good to me. So I'm thinking he's either high A or low S. So to see how you feel, I'm going to put him up in S. Let's see if we can get this bell curve going.
Wow. Okay. So the S tier for Beak. I don't know. So
yeah, and I think the way you explained to me was for S, top tier, that would be an ally that we would always play when we draw them. And I can definitely see me, unless I'm got a vital piece of equipment for my hero. I can see this guy going in.
Yeah, no, I think that we're off to a good start here because I entirely agree with that pick. I've said on my channel before that I think that Beak is the strongest ally from this wave 8 right here. So I think, yeah,
And here I thought you were going to knock him down a notch, but okay.
yeah, I don't know if you purposely put in there so I could waste my turn to knock him down a notch, but that didn't work, Dale.
No, I don't even know who wins this game, but
Yeah, I think I think that Beak is I think is a very powerful ally. I think that even if you're not playing him with X-Men, I mean, just being two cost, like he's already going to remove one threat on play because he is one X-Men ally himself, so that's already really good. And if you play him with X-Men, I mean, he's just insane. I think he's definitely, if you're playing him with X-Men on that like Nick Fury level, each time you draw him, I always try to play my turns around playing him. And if I don't have the resources for him, I try to hold on to him for next turn. So he's definitely an ally that I always want to play.
Mhm. And you brought up an ally from the core box. Is that your favorite ally in the game?
Um, People might think that is not my favorite ally. It is
Okay.
the ally that I abuse the most because he's so
Okay.
powerful. So I definitely like to recur him a lot, and just keep on putting him down. But yeah, he's not my favorite.
I don't know if you want to give that out or make people wait and come to your channel to find that out. So,
Oh, okay. So my favorite ally in the game. I don't know. It's a little bit off topic, but I have no problem going over it. But I do want to hear
okay.
yours too. So mine is actually Peter Parker's Spider-Man, the Justice Ally that came from the Rise of the Red Skull. Why are you laughing, Dale? Is it because he's a web warrior?
Web Warrior. I was like, I should have known.
Well, fun fact, that ally card is actually not a web warrior. He doesn't have the web warrior trait. He has the
Oh,
Avengers
yeah.
trait. Yeah. And he is a 5 cost ally, so when you play him, you can remove 3 times player threat from a side scheme. And I think that that's a little bit of an underwhelming effect in solo. Both you and I primarily play solo. But I have this really wonky Cable deck that makes use of him through chance encounter and through Cable's economy. So that really made me enjoy the ally, and it just feels really good to me playing a very expensive ally. It feels more fun and having him do a lot on play.
hmm Yeah, that's funny. I put you on the spot and you just returned the favor. So I'm sitting here trying to think, who do I like? And there's two that jump to my mind. One is Bug and the other is Yandu.
Oh,
And
Yondu.
because I have built a deck around them, forgetting all about the hero. So, and that's why I just think it's interesting. So, I mean, probably in the link of this video, I'll put a link to that playthrough. So I made Spider Woman so I could have both of them in the same deck. And I just put all the Guardian equipment in there. And I'm pretty sure, I don't remember, I was so long ago, but I remember it worked. I feel like they did more damage than my heroes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always
So,
really cool for like an ally build to like just have them keep staying alive because I think Bug after you use a basic activation you heal damage from him, right?
yep.
And then
Well,
Yon
yeah, you got to, yeah, I had to keep her attacking so I could heal him one and then have him attack. And of course, I had a spear on him and probably something else. And I forget, I might have had someone else. I played with another hero. I feel like I probably had some healing in there too, just to keep him on the table.
yeah.
But it's been so long, but that's the one. I figure an ally that you can build a deck around your ally and not your heroes got to be top tier. And
I
if I'm building an aggression deck, Bug's just an auto put in because, I mean, it costs a 2 health, chance of sticking around for a while.
yeah.
All right, I totally took us way off topic. I went to the Guardians and we're up to the
You,
X-Men.
you don't even like the Guardians.
I know. I like the allies, not the hero.
I do want to comment super quick. I feel like I am shocked to hear that is your favorite, or those two are your favorite allies. From all my
They're the one that
playthroughs,
came to my mind. Yeah.
okay, gotcha. Yeah, from whenever I watch your playthroughs, what I think of like what they will like is like a very disposable ally that just comes in, does his thing, chump blocks, and it's gone. So I am shocked to hear that those are your favorite allies.
Yep, that's usually how. Yeah, that's probably another reason too, because I play them totally different than I would anyone else. Because yeah, most of them have 2 health. I bring them in, they attack, and then they're there to block. And if the guy's got overkill, that's the only time I'm worried.
Yeah. Okay,
All right, we've
so
stalled long enough. You're up.
yeah, sorry for that. That gave me a lot of time to think about my ally, which I was thinking as we were talking about that. So,
That's the only break you get.
okay, so let me. I'm gonna rank just an ally that I like the character a lot. Where is he? I'm gonna find Cyclops here. So Cyclops, he is a 3-cost ally, and he has 2 thwart, 2 attack, and 2 hit points. So a little bit low on the hit points, but great thwarting and attacking stats. He has a response after he enters play. You can choose any enemy, and until the end of the phase, increase the amount of damage that enemy takes from each attack by 1. So he is really fun for like a big final push. And I do think that he's not as good as Beak, because he's not as good if I'm not ready to do damage to either a minion or the villain. But he's a card that I do like building decks around, and I think that he's a lot of fun to do a bunch of burst damage. So where would I put him? No lower than B for me. Is he an A tier ally? Yeah, I'm putting him in A tier. I'm gonna be generous with Cyclops just because I like Cyclops the character a lot. And I feel like even if it is like an earlier game situation and I don't need to do damage, he's still coming in to Thor for 2, which is still, very decent in itself. And he can always do at least 3 damage whenever you play him because he can just choose whatever minion or villain take an extra damage so that he can swing for 3. So I think that's a pretty good and good effect for being a 3-cost ally. So he goes in A tier for me.
Yep, and looking at him like I mean, he costs more than I like, but three's not bad for what he's doing. And like you said, I mean, he's got 2 for each of his stats, but easily he can pick what he wants to attack and makes that a 3 attack. So I'm not going to disagree with you on that one.
Man,
I
we're just
think we're
agreeing.
both in this. I'm not wasting my turn on that. Now it just goes to who I want to go next. Let's see. I will say this, though. I feel like when I played him, because he came with Magneto, right? I feel like he was a resource a lot of times for me.
Yeah, you were just telling me off stream that Cyclops is a big resource card for you.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, first time playing a deck, you're kind of like, there's better things to do until you actually give them and play and you go, oh, wait, yeah, that is 3 attack for whatever. And then, but early game, not as
Yeah,
impressive as late game.
yeah, for sure.
Um,
I think if you draw him early, he's not really going to do that much.
hmm So following up on Magneto, I'm going to go with Kid Omega next. 2 cost with 2 health. So right in my wheelhouse. Attack of 2 and thwart of 2. After he enters play, you get to choose. You can spend an energy resource to deal a damage to each enemy, or spend a mental resource to remove a threat from each scheme. Oh, goodness. I like this better the more I read it. I'm pretty sure he's better than Cyclops in my book.
Okay.
It's just, I feel like I shouldn't be throwing everything in S tier. Everything's too new and shiny for me. I know Marvel Champions doesn't come with shiny cards, shiny foil yet,
I
but
wish it did.
maybe that's next time they'll do extended arts foil.
Please listen, Fantasy Flight Games. We want foil Marvel Champions cards.
No, we don't want to make this collectible at all. If you want that, go to their Star Wars, Unleashed or Unlimited game. Yeah. No, I think top of A tier as well. I'll keep him for now. But yeah, I love that. I mean, playing him as 2, and if you have that extra card that you couldn't do anything with, hopefully you kept the right resource and get a pretty good bonus ability out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like this whole video we're just gonna agree on every single one. So if you put him in S, I would have used my turn to move him down to A. I think that he is a very strong ally, but
Mm-hmm.
I've actually played him a lot, and I find that I almost never use that ability. But he's just a 2-cost ally that can thwart for 2 or attack for 2, which is really good. But usually that extra resource is something that I need to use during that turn. But
Mm-hmm.
definitely, it is a really good effect, and it's really powerful, very versatile as well to either remove threat or do extra damage. But I think that he's a little bit shy of being an S tier, and he's always a good ally I like to see, but he's not one that I'm afraid to pitch as a resource.
Yeah, and it would, I think, against Ultron, if there's a full board, a little drones all over the place. If you run leadership, he's got to be in that deck.
Yeah, he blows everything up. That's really a really
Yep.
powerful way to use him. All right, so I guess
All right.
this is gonna be a quick video. We don't have
Yeah,
to
keep
argue or
the
anything.
agree train going.
Yeah. Okay. I'm taking a look at Gambit here, and he is actually one of my favorite allies from this wave. So Gambit is a 3-cost ally. He has X Thort and X Attack, and he has 3 hit points. As a response, after Gambit enters play, you can look at the top 3 cards of the encounter deck, and then you tuck one underneath him so that only the boost field is available, and the other 2 cards go back on top of the encounter deck in the same order. And then the boost icons on the card underneath Gambit is equal to his Thorn attack. So if you get really lucky and you get like a 4 boost icon, he has 4 Thort, 4 attack, and 3 hit points, and he can activate, 3 times and do like, 12 Thort removal or 12 damage or any mix in between them. So Gambit, I think he's really cool. I think he's a very fun and novel type of ally. So he goes at least better than Kid Omega for me. And do I think that he is in the S tier with Beak? Yeah, I'm gonna put Gambit in S tier. I'm gonna put him behind Beak though. And the reason I put him behind Beak is because there's so many times where I play Gambit and I get 3 encounter cards that are all 0 boost icons. So then he has 0 Thor, 0 attack. But the information to know the next encounter card is so useful because it allows me to flip down to Alter Ego because I know the villain has a low boost for scheme and that they won't get an advance for the encounter card. So just that knowledge is still good. If he could always consistently get at least 2 Thor, 2 attack and have that knowledge, he would be above Beak in my opinion. But I've gotten the 0 Thor, 0 attack version of Gambit too many times for me to put him above Beak, who is very consistent.
Yep, and of course, the whole time I'm thinking, you get Shadows of the Past and never let Gambit die. What a wonderful game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have put him in S tier, but I'm not going to bump him down to A. I am noticing a theme, though. Are you evaluating that if they're basic, does that make them a little bit nicer?
Oh, actually, that's a interesting. I am not. So maybe we should.
Okay.
That's my fault. We should have went a little bit more into like our criteria. So yeah, I'm evaluating everything like equal. So even though basic cards can be included in any aspects deck, I'm gonna evaluate them as if there were an aggression or a protection card as well, like just everything on the even playing
Yep.
scale. But for me personally, cards like Beak, where he gets an extra effect if you have other X-Men allies, I'm kind of evaluating him with that in mind. Like I'm not gonna really include him in like a non-X-Men deck. So like I am gonna put him in S tier because usually if I'm playing Beak, I want to put him, with other X-Men.
Yep. And I'm doing the same, too. I mean, like I said, I don't play leadership much at all, so those A tiers might not get much play for me, but I can appreciate what they're doing there.
Yeah, for
All
sure.
right, so Gambit, yeah, if you would have put him in front of Beak, I might have, because yeah, I feel like he's iffy. Like you said, if you get the 3 zeros, but yeah, if he gets Shadows of the Past or a 4,
Oh yeah.
then you're sitting there, yes, sir. So,
Yeah.
all right, let me look through here. I'm just going with the ones that I got to play so far, and since I've only played one game, I've got some information on these. So I'm going to pick M. And of course, the top thing about her, I sort my cards alphabetically, and it's just so easy. No, okay. Calls to 4, 4 health, 4 to 2, 3 attack, but she hits herself for 2 if she attacks. As a response, after she enters play, defeat a minion with fewer remaining hit points than M. 4 costs is definitely something when I initially go through cards and go, not a huge fan of that. But after playing her and getting that big enemy and realizing, well, I can use this little guy just to do 2 damage and play her and he's out, is kind of nice. So that's put her up in at least B tier. And I forget what we were saying B was. Like them, but not always going to use them kind of thing.
Yeah, more situational
Solid, but
allies.
more situational. Often use it as a resource, but will definitely stick in the deck. I feel like that fits where I'd put her because it seems very. I mean, there's times depending on the board state, I'm like, oh yes, I'm using this. But then there's other times where it's kind of like, Yeah, I can play other cards or not. So I think I'm sticking with the solid B.
Man, okay. I wanted you to put her. I thought you could put her in A because you were like kind of hyping her up, and I thought that I would be able to use my turn to move her down to B. But I entirely agree with you. Yeah, I mean, I think that she is a very solid ally, but too situational. So if you can get the situational effect off, she's like, S tier for me, right? She's definitely like that good. If you
Hmm.
can play her, defeat a strong minion, and it does not have to be an elite minion either, right? So really, really powerful
Right.
effect.
Yeah, it's just any minion. Yeah, so if it was just elite, I don't. She'd be low B.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just yeah, but then it's just because, I mean, she's 4 cost, and if there are no minions, I mean, she's a resource. So I think it's just because it's a little bit contingent on that. I think that she's gonna go in the B tier for me. But if the effect can trigger, definitely A or S tier for sure.
Hmm.
Man, we gotta disagree on something, dude. What's going on? Okay, I guess we played the exact same way. Okay, I'm gonna go with Snow Clone because I think he's really cool. So Snow Clone is an identity-specific ally from Iceman's hero kit, and he's a 2 cost ally. He has no thwart stat, so that means that you cannot buff up his thwart stat and allow him to thwart. He can never thwart, and he has 2 hit points. He has the Ice and X-Men trait, and he cannot have upgrades attached. But a Snow Clone will take -1 consequential damage after he attacks an enemy with Frostbite attached. And Iceman is a hero that gives frostbites to a bunch of enemies. So after he attaches a frostbite to an enemy after triggering freeze, and Snow Clone attacks that same enemy, then Snow Clone will take no consequential damage. So you can Voltron him, similar to Bug and to Yondu. So Snow Clone for me, he goes in a B tier. I think he's a really fun and cool ally. No pun intended, but I don't think that he is a
You're not a dad yet.
hopefully, I don't want to say anything else other than that. But yeah, let me see. Is he better than M though? Comparing him to M, I think that he is better than M. I know that when I play Iceman, I do prioritize the snow clones a lot, and I want to get them out, even if there's no one to hit for damage, because just having him out there, he can always block. He's only 2 costs, and being able to vulture himself is really nice. I will say that the thwarting ability, not being able to thwart, has bitten me in the butt a few times. I'm like, man, I need like one extra thwart ping, and Snow Clone can't do that because he has no thwarting stat. But he's still a very solid ally to me that I'm usually, it's a little bit situational, but I think that he's a very good ally for me. Yeah.
Yep, and is where it hurts that I haven't played him yet. So when I first read him, I mean, my mind kind of did go to, oh my God, he's a better bug, except can't thwart part. Um, and I do have the Iceman pack because I have the card right here. So it's on my to-do list.
Oh, I'm excited to see that.
Um, so I've got higher hopes than you. I think
Okay.
I feel like he's A tier.
Okay.
Now, yeah, and we're back to he comes in the Iceman pack, so that's the only way you can play him. So I haven't played Iceman. I have read through his what are those? The Frostbite cards. Is that limited to the 8, or is there a possibility to use more than 8?
I think he only has 6 frostbites in his kit.
Okay.
And basically, it's pretty easy to trigger. So basically, all you have to do is make a basic attack or basic defense. And whatever enemy that he touches with that, he can attach a frostbite to. And then his thwart
Mm-hmm.
events, all of them, after you play like the thwart and you remove threat, you can attach a frostbite to any enemy that you choose. Same with his attack events, they can all attach frostbite. So he has all of his attack and thwart events attach frostbites, and also his basic activation, his attack and thwart. Sorry, not his thwarting, his basic attack and basic defense will also attach a frostbite.
Yep. So this is probably where I'm going to prove myself wrong. But right now, I'm excited, and I think I like him better than Cyclops,
Oh,
but
okay.
not better than Kid Omega.
Okay. Gotcha.
But that's going to one play. It might take two, depending on how the cards come out. That could definitely change. But right now, just seeing how easy it is to get the Frostbite card out there, and just having somebody that can always hit for 2, and there's 2 in the deck, I believe.
Yeah.
So if you can keep them alive to do 4 damage every turn, that gets me excited.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
And how does that make you feel that I did that to support Cyclops?
I was just gonna say I'm not mad, um, until you move them above Cyclops. So I think that snow clone. I think that I probably rate snow clone a little bit lower than most people in the community from what I've seen with the perception of him. I do think that a lot of people think that he is an A tier ally. So I think where you put him is entirely fair. Cyclops, I'm just biased because I like Cyclops a lot. But yeah, I think that I'm definitely not mad at him being an A tier ally, especially if he stays in play and he can do like 10, 20 damage throughout the course of a game if you can get him down in turn one, right? So he can definitely prove to have massive value. The only reason I put him in B was because I felt that he was a little bit too situational. But I mean, yeah,
Mm.
I'm definitely not upset at you wasting your turn to move the snow clone that I already think is A tier, and I purposely put him in B. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't do
Whoa,
that.
you're playing the game.
Yeah, yeah. I'm playing to
No,
win.
no, it reminds me of Hulk. I mean, I feel like when the game first came out and I was using Hulk, there were times where I feel like there were ways to do over 20 damage with him just because of him attacking for 3 and then doing an additional, yeah, he had 5 health, so potentially you could do 25 damage.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like you said, if you can keep these guys in a couple rounds, I'm excited. And yeah, I'll give you a turn to get someone else in there for me to move.
Okay, okay. So you skipped. So it's back to me again to put another ally wherever I want. I think I'll go for another identity specific ally. This card I like a lot here. I don't know if you've seen this card. It's from Magic's kit. So it's Colossus here. And Colossus is a 3-cost ally. He has 2 Thwart, 2 attack, has 3 hit points, and he comes in with toughness as well. And as an interrupt, whenever an enemy attacks you, and Colossus is like kind of in your hand, you can play Colossus from your hand, paying his resource cost, and declare him the defender without exhausting him. So that is a crazy effect. So what I really like about that is uh, he doesn't have to exhaust. So the thing that I don't like about allies that have a tough stats card is if I play them and have tough, and then they can't activate, because if they activate, they'll take consequential damage, they'll be exhausted, and then they're ready up when the villain attacks me, but they won't have the tough anymore. So the cool thing about Colossus is that when you play him during the villain phase, when an enemy attacks you, his tough will block the attack, and then he'll stay readied up. So during the player phase, he can still activate thwart or attack for 2, which is just really nice because yeah, you can just use that basic activation. So for me, Colossus is, oh man, I don't want to put too much stuff in S tier, but I think he's S tier. I think that I'm having him in hand is kind of like a safety, like every single turn, right? If the villain gets like an extra assault or another gang up, you can just have him in your hand, just hold him there. He's going to be a protector that you don't have to pay 3 cost. At least you don't have to pay it to get him down. You can wait when you want to play him, right? And if the enemy doesn't attack you, just hold him in your hand. You don't have to ever play him if you don't want to. I feel like, yeah, I think he's really good. Is he better than Gambit and Beak? Um, oh man, this is really hard because he's an identity specific ally. So I feel like they're usually just stronger. I think I think it's really good. Is he better? Ooh, I don't know. I'm gonna leave him here in the S tier. I have
Mm-hmm.
played enough games with Magic where I did not use Colossus as much as I would want to because he is, 3 costs. And I do like the utility of Gambit and Beak. And I think that their effects are almost always useful. And Colossus, I guess you do have to use it as a block, but he can just come in and, Thor for 2, attack for 2, 4 activations because of the tough status card too. So yeah, I think he's an S tier ally, but I think he's not as good as the other two. What do you think?
I haven't played with him. I don't know much about Magic either, so I don't think he's S tier.
Okay.
So now I'm trying to. Are you gaming the game? Yeah, I think I'm going to use my turn again to bump him down,
Okay.
and he's going below Cyclops
Oh wow, okay.
because to me, yeah, I mean for 3 toughness and the stats, yeah, those are good. But I feel like it. I mean, if I have cards, I try playing everything, and if he's not needed on the turn I draw him, he's probably going to be a resource. But if I draw into
Mm.
him, that's a super sweet ability. So I feel like it would have to be, it'd still be situational then, because then it's kind of like, well, what other cards do I have? Because if I spend 3, my next turn is going, but at least he's ready to attack with. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, I think
We will be disagreeing on this some. Who knew?
yeah. I don't know how much we will be disagreeing because you kind of convinced me. I think that I definitely honestly thought he was an S tier ally, but hearing you, kind of explain that, I do think he's more situational than I gave him credit for. If I did not put him in S tier, would you have put him in a B tier or would you leave him in the A tier?
I probably would have put him in low B.
Okay. I will
But
compromise
like,
with
well,
you. Yeah.
you played with him though,
Yeah.
so and I haven't.
I will compromise with you
So
because I also agree. Can we put him in the upper B tier?
no, I mean lower A works. I mean,
Okay,
I don't
okay.
want to change the game here.
Oh, you're right. You're right. We gotta stick to the rules.
Yeah, we
Okay.
now of course we didn't say how you win at this game. We just said it's a game. So
Yeah, I guess we just win based on your overall feeling of the list. And if you're like, I hate this list, like Web Warrior just like messed it up. I'm not proud having this on my channel. Like people are gonna be like, what the heck, this list sucks. So then you will lose. But if you're proud of this list, I think that's a win.
no, it starts a discussion. I mean, it could be you and me sitting at the game store building two decks to play.
Yeah.
And it's that ultimate question of, hey, I need another ally to put in here. What do you think of this card? And it's going to start the same discussion with viewers, hopefully, of them going, huh, Dale's lost it again. Why would he think that guy's not that good? Or Web Warrior, he really likes that guy. I'm going to give it a try and see what happens. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it starts a discussion, and that's what cooperative games are about.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe the guy, you can put him in there and go, yeah, I discarded him for a resource every single no.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I've wasted another turn. I feel like you're winning the game, but I still feel good about it. So
Yeah. You
it's funny. We have a joke with my game group that I might have lost the game, but I met my alternate win condition.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll just make that up on the spot of whatever that was.
Yeah, I'm getting more turns, but you're solidifying like spots for these allies that I can't touch anymore. So it's kind of fair. It's kind of fair.
Mhm.
Okay, who do we do next? I wasn't planning on going again. So okay, I think I'm gonna make you waste your turn again, but I could be wrong. So we'll see. This one right here, this is one of my favorite allies from this wave. Triage. He's a 2-cost ally. One thwart, one attack. He has 2 hit points. As a response, after Triage enters play, heal 2 damage from any X-Men character. Triage for me, he goes in S tier, man. And I don't know what you're gonna think about that. I think that I'm gonna put him, I think also behind Gambit. So his effect is pretty simple, but the amount of times where I cannot flip over to Alter Ego because the villain's just giving me too much pressure, I'm like, holy cow, I got Triage. Play him down, he heals me for 2. Massive with Utopia, he also raises me back up. And then for versatile effects too, I can have an ally like Gambit. If he has like 4th or 4 attack, he can activate. I can play Triage, heal Gambit, and he can activate it more times too. Because Triage can heal any X-Men character, including an ally. So I just think it's super nice to have the versatility to come in and heal. The worst thing about Triage is that if I draw him on turn 1, it stinks because I have full health and I have no allies that have damage either. But even on turn 1, if I don't have any other ally, I'll play him because he can at least block for me and still activate. So I feel like at worst, he's a 2-cost ally with 1 thwart, 1 attack, which is super solid. And then that healing can come in super duper clutch. So I think he's an S tier ally for me, yeah.
And I'd agree. I might have even put him higher up on the list.
If you want, you can waste your turn to move him up above Gambit.
Not wasting my turn. He's up in S tier. Yeah, that ability just to, yeah, because a lot of times 2 health is the deciding factor on I've got to risk the villain scheming
Yeah,
to not die. So to get 2 health to get you up a little bit, so at least your defense can save you if needed. That's huge. And it might, like if you're playing Wolverine with her, that might go, yeah, I'm using the claws. I'm going to hurt myself because I know I can play her and heal me right back.
yeah,
So yeah, I like that one.
nice.
And I see we're still sticking with the basic cards in the S
Oh
tier, which
yeah,
yeah, I mean that's bringing out something that doesn't matter what aspect you play. You've got some other awesome, great support cards you can put into your decks.
yeah, for sure.
So let me look through here. And C, well, I did mention Wolverine, so we'll go with that one. Oh, well, going off subject once again, because that's what I do a lot of times. I'm very much a squirrel kind of person. I was trying to figure out what shirt to wear because the last time we were on your side, I made sure I had a Spider-Man shirt on. And this time I was like, we're talking about the X-Men. I don't have a Wolverine shirt. I don't have a Magneto shirt. So I've got to do some shopping here after this. But anyway, back on
Wait,
topic.
wait, wait, hold up, hold
Well,
up. What shirt are you wearing? You can't just tease us like that.
I
Uh,
went Deadpool.
oh, Deadpool. Okay. Yeah,
Yep.
I wanted to wear either a Captain America shirt or a Venom shirt, to honor your channel. I didn't even think about X-Men, but I looked through my wardrobe also for a shirt to wear, and I was like, all I got are these Spider-Man shirts here. So yeah, this is it's just
That
another
makes
Spider-Man
sense.
shirt. Yeah. So unfortunately, I don't have
And,
the other ones. Yeah.
and
So
something tells me Anna, if she saw a Captain America shirt, she'd be like, so who's this gift for? So
yeah, yeah, she would burn that Captain America shirt. You know her.
uh, she's going to be my nemesis in life. All right, so back to Wolverine.
Yes.
Uh, cost of 4, health of 4, 4-1, attack for 3, taking 2 consequential. It's attacks game piercing. Of course, you have to be playing Jubilee to use this card. And response after you change to alter ego, he automatically heals for 3. So 4 cost ally, but it's Wolverine doing some nasty attacking and healing if you decide to flip over. I really like him. I feel like at no point, if I was playing Jubilee, if I drew this card, it would have to be super situational for me not to try to put him in play. But I don't think he's S tier. And oddly enough, just knowing the fact that him and Cyclops hate each other, I'm going to rank him one step higher than
Oh
Cyclops
wow. Okay. Oops.
on theme only.
Okay. Man, I think this is my turn my first time using my turn skip. Cause yeah, I mean Wolverine. So I don't know. I think you just really like the theme and you just love Wolverine as a character, and I think that is jading your perspective on this one, Dale. He is I so I will say I like this ally card a lot. I think it works really well with Jubilee because she wants to flip down to Arc Ego a lot. So getting that 3
Okay.
healing is really, really nice. But I think that he is a little bit too situational of a card. And most of the time that I draw him, I am pitching him as a resource, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to put him here in a B tier. And I don't think he's a terrible card, so definitely not C or D, but not as good as M. So yeah, I'm gonna skip my turn to move him down here. The piercing is really nice as well, but in my opinion, the aggression Wolverine that we got that heals the damage every single turn no matter what. I think that it's a little bit stronger of effect than this Wolverine here, where you have to flip down to Alter Ego. But I mean, it works with Jubilee because she can confuse enemy, but on stalwart steady enemies and on turns that she can't, get that breathing room in order to flip down, I do find him a little bit more situational.
Now, the aggression, that's a 4 cost ally too, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Would you put both of those in the same deck? Would you
unfortunately,
build Jubilee with
yeah.
aggression and have that Wolverine in there too?
Unfortunately, you can't because they both have the unique rule or the
Oh,
unique
unique.
thing
That's
on the
right.
Wolverine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking you couldn't have them in play.
Yeah. For anyone that's watching that doesn't know what the aggression Wolverine does, that is the exact same stat line. So 4-1-3 with 4 hit points, and it takes 2 consequential damage for attacking, but it heals 1 damage every single time the player phase begins. So it's just constantly steadily healing every single turn, whether you flip to Alter Ego or not. And this Wolverine has a burst heal whenever Jubilee flips down to Alter Ego.
All
Oh, you have
right.
it? Oh,
So I finally got you to play along.
you
I'm trying
got
to think
me.
if we're going to have any in the D tier or C tier, but
Yeah.
Wolverine has been bumped to B. All right. Let's see.
The last time that I
Glob looks
did,
interesting.
yeah, the last time that I did this list, like for previous allies, there are a lot of D tier and C tiers, but I think at this point in the game, well, like the newest wave here, Wave 8, of all these powerful X-Men allies, I feel like they're just like a higher curve in general. So
Hmm.
I don't know if we're gonna get any C or D tier allies. Actually, no, we definitely will. Well, I'll put them there. We'll see if you will move them up.
All right. Glob is the one I'm going with. I do love my aggression. Cost of 3, health of 3, 4 to 2, but takes 2 consequential and 2 attack. Play only if your identity has the X-Men trait. And response, after he enters play, deal 2 damage to an enemy with an upgrade attached. So, somewhat situational there. Did he come with Iceman?
I
That's right, Iceman was aggression, so I guess that would work. Yeah,
he
and that is the ice symbol down there. All right. I was just trying to figure out why. So that makes sense with him. So definitely with Iceman, I can see him being a good card. Um, but definitely not S tier. Got good numbers, even without the responses. But I'm thinking putting him in B. It's just, yeah, he's got to go behind Wolverine. I can't put him in front of that.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, I like his numbers. It just seems very basic, though, unless you're playing someone like Iceman or someone else that throws attachments everywhere, like what Valkyrie maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, but she's not an X-Men, so
Yeah. Man, I don't. So for Glob here, I think if you didn't rank him in B, I probably would have put him in C. Because
okay.
yeah, for our criteria for his list, I've never actually included him in a deck, not even for Iceman. A Glob is just not an ally that I've ever even wanted to put in. But based on like listening to you talk about him, I do think he's actually really solid, right? Because ignoring the response, 3 cost ally, 2 thwart, 2 attack, and 3 hit points. I mean, that's a solid stat line. So I think that he's serviceable and he can be in any deck, And if you have the upgrade attached, like if you're playing an upgrade heavy type of hero like Cyclops or Iceman, I mean, he is really, really good because being able to do 2 damage. So I'm actually happy with this spot for him. Actually, I think you convinced me.
Mm.
Yeah, I do want to put him down in C just because we have no one in the C or D tier. We just think all these X-Men allies are so good. But yeah, I
Yeah,
think that that's a fair spot based on what you said.
yeah, and like I mean, usually when I look at a card, I mean, cost of 2 with 2 health, I expect a stat line of 1/1, which is why Kid Omega really jumped up. And then, like I said, looking at Cyclops, I mean, he's only got 2 health, and Colossus right above him. Cost of 3 with 3 health and 2s for each stat. I feel like that's a very, you're on the curve stat line. So it's somewhere in A and B for me, depending on what the ability might be. And I agree with you. Colossus has a great ability that bumps him up more than a B tier.
So I think I want to try to shoot for a C or D tier ally here. I'm not sure if there are any. So I'm gonna just go for an ally that I've never played or that I've never put in a deck. And I feel like it must not be good if I've never put in a deck, right? So let's take a look at Chamber here. And I don't even remember what his effect is. So let's see. He's a 4 cost ally, 2 thwart, 2 attack, 3 hit points. And Chamber takes -1 consequential damage after he attacks a confused enemy. So he's a 4 cost ally. If he attacks a confused enemy, then he won't take damage, so you can kind of Bolt on him. I think he goes in C tier for me. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think that his effect, it's so situational. And if you aren't able to get the situational effect off, he's not an ally that I want because being 4 cost for a stat line of 2/2/3 is not good. We just talked about earlier about how Colossus is a 2/2/3 with a being 3 cost, which is very good, but that makes Chamber not good because it's exact same thing for 1 cost higher. Being 4 cost is just way too expensive, and this effect is not an effect like M here, who can like destroy a minion for you. His effect is just he takes -1 consequent damage, so that's kind of low impact immediately as well, kind of low tempo. So I think, actually, is he a D tier ally? Is he an ally that I think is absolute trash? Or is he just situational and like I probably will not include him in any decks? That's a hard
And I'm
one.
guessing, did he come with Magic's kit?
I believe that he came with Jubilee. Yeah,
Jubilee?
yeah.
Okay.
Magic also came in aggression.
So does Jubilee have a lot of things to confuse the enemy?
She does.
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she does. She's a big confuser with her sparkling stuff. She just like sparkles, blinds
Okay.
everyone, and then everyone's like confused and stunned. Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think I'm gonna put him in D tier. I'm putting him in D tier. I think that his stats are just not good at all, and I think that I mean, this effect here on a star enemy, he has a blank text card, right? Because, or I guess he could also hit minions if they're confused, but we don't want to waste that confuse on a minion anyways, right? So I think that he's just not a good card, and I would never run him in any decks.
And I'm just looking through all the cards. I think there's only one other Justice card that came in this set because I was getting ready to go. If, if I'm building a Justice deck, would I even consider like you? It's kind of, even if I'm trying to stay with an X-Men theme, would he make a cut or would I go pull in from the basics? And I agree with you. I don't think I'd look at him unless I was specifically going, I'm building a deck that's all about confusion. That's the only way I put him in. So I'm with you. I'm not going to disagree.
Okay.
I know you were hoping taking him from C to D would make me waste my turn, but I'm not falling for that trick again.
Dang it.
But since we went with Justice, and I just realized there's only one more Justice left, unless I totally missed something, we'll bring in Husk.
Okay.
So very similar. Well, is that the exact same stat line. Cost of 4, 3 health, 2 for thwart, 2 for attack. Interrupt, when she uses a basic power, spend up to 3 resources. If you spend at least one, potentially, if it's energy, she gets +1 to that power for this use. Uh, Scientific or mental, heal damage from Husk, and then strength ready her after this use. So, yeah, you spend a lot to get her in. Then the next turn, using her, you're getting rid of cards in your hand. So, very situational. But I mean, a lot of times, if you have one card left over, yeah, I'm going to pitch it to get an extra bonus.
Yeah.
Definitely better than Chamber, though. But would I go out of the way to? I don't know if I could put her up in B tier. I think I'd go with C.
Okay.
She's either a low B or a high C, and I feel like we need to fill the blanks in. That's just my OCD kicking in. I'm going C tier.
Okay. Yeah.
And then, of course, the Guthrie name, I know that, but I know nothing of Husk.
Yeah. I don't
Looks like
know.
she's got powers from everyone. Looks like she's got some claws coming out and changing form in there.
Yeah, I do not know this character either. So I have no, sort of bias for her. And I completely agree that I think that she's a C tier ally. I mean, I usually will not include her in my decks if I'm playing Justice, but definitely I think that there is a way to build around her and make her very,
Mm-hmm.
very high value. It's just a lot of work, and I don't want my deck to be focusing around this ally that I don't even know, like from the comics or like, anything. So yeah, I think that C tier is a solid spot for her.
Yeah, I feel like, I guess if you had X Jet in and you didn't use it, that's a free use every turn with her.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yep, cool. All right,
yeah.
we're back on agreeing. Let's see if we can break that habit.
Okay. Ooh, okay. I think I might have one that might be a little bit of a hot take that you might disagree with. And this is
Uh,
really from only playing this ally a lot that I feel this way. So let's do North Star. So North Star is a protection ally that came in the Nightcrawler hero pack. He's a 3-cost ally, 1 thwart, 2 attack, and 3 hit points. He has an X-Men trait. As an interrupt, whenever a boost card is turned face up during an attack, you can deal 1 damage to North Star and then cancel all the boost icons on that card. So now that I just read it, I kind of I thought I was gonna put him like S or A, but I think he still just goes into B tier for me. But I will put him above M. I think he's that good. Um, I think what makes him such a solid ally is that he is kind of a saving grace for perfect defense protection. So perfect defense in protection, it's a very famous archetype where basically you focus on defending and taking no damage. And whenever a boost card is turned face up during attack, you can have North Star cancel the boost icons on that card and guarantee and know exactly how much damage that you will take from the villain. So I'm not the biggest fan of perfect defense because villains like Ronin hit for way too much, and I'll always take damage from his attacks if I'm defending and not blocking with the ally. But North Star can cancel those boost cards, and he can cancel multiple boost cards as well, right? So even if Ronin, because he doesn't need to exhaust North Star, I mean. So if Ronin has 2 boost cards against you, North Star can take 2 damage, cancel both of the boost cards, the boost icons on those cards, and then Ronin's only hitting for 3, 4, 5, or 6, depending on how many attachments he has that buffs his attack. But if you're defending and you know your defense is higher than that, then you can for sure guarantee that you're getting that perfect defense proc. So he is still a situational ally, so he's gonna go into B tier. I just can't include him in any protection deck. But if I am playing perfect defense, I'm this guy. He is the ally for keeping that engine online and being able to trigger all those powerful perfect defense stuff, like Unflappable to draw a card if you take no damage after defending. All the other stuff as well.
And I'm agreeing with you. Yeah. I mean, just reading through that, I was thinking, I was reading through the protection cards recently, and it was kind of like, it's so hard to pull that off, that perfect, not taking the damage. But that card there, like you said, if you're going that strategy, he's definitely an ally to put in your deck. There's
Yeah.
no restrictions either. That's kind of nice too, that even if you're not playing an X-Man deck, he'll switch teams, sort of say, to
Yeah.
he'll help an Avenger or Sealed Agent.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm good with that one.
Nice.
Let's see. I'm just going to follow suit then. You went with protection. I feel like there's one more protection left. That's going to be Rogue. And then we get to talk about what we expect for a 4-cost ally. 3 health, 4 to 2, attack of 2. As an action, deal a damage to another friendly character. Not nice at all. I'm always going to choose you when we're playing. Just kidding, man. Not really. Until the end of the round, Rogue gains each of that character's traits and adds that character's printed thwart and attack to her matching powers. Limit once per round. So yeah, cost of 4 with those stats, not too thrilling, but the ability to pick a different character and play, borrow a trait, and add their thwart and attack to what you're doing, especially with some heroes that like to take a damage every now and then. I don't know why I'm thinking of Spider-Ham right now, but I know there's others that don't mind taking a point of damage.
Yeah.
I feel like he's better than C. Let's see, what do we got in B tier? I feel like I am going to move her up to B. And yeah, let's move her between Wolverine and Blob.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Rogue. Let's see. I'm being 4 cost. She's very high tempo, right? So if you play her, she can thwart for a lot or attack for a lot on play. If you can buff up your hero's stats or another ally's stats, and she gets even more, right? So she could, come in and swing for like, 7 if your hero somehow got to like 5 attack. So that's really cool. If you ready her that turn, she can also do a lot more, that same activation again and do a lot more damage or a lot more thwarting. I think she's very high impact. I think that she definitely won't be in the A tier for me. So I'm down. I think I'm down to put her in the B tier. Yeah, she's definitely not as bad as Husk in my opinion. I think that there's more ways to use her. And if I have her in a B tier, I mean, I'm not gonna waste my turn just to move her around in here.
Where would you put her in B tier then?
Let's see. So I completely agree that she should be B tier. And if I were to put her somewhere, I think I would put her above Wolverine. Would I definitely behind North Star, so close to M here. I think M is
Okay.
better. Yeah, so I think I'll just move her 1, like right there. Yeah,
Yeah, not bad.
yeah.
And if I
Maybe
wasn't so biased, I probably would have done that too, but
I was just gonna say that. I feel like if this wasn't Wolverine, like the exact same style and effect, you would have put her above him too. I think that's what makes Marvel Champions so cool because we all have like our biases, and we're always gonna put them like a little bit higher, a little bit lower. Just like to play them more, think they're a little bit better of a card than maybe they are. So I think that's really cool. I definitely do that with the WEB-WARRIOR stuff.
yep, and I'll do it with certain individuals too.
Yeah. Okay, so I get a turn here. Who are we putting? Okay, let's go a little bit outside the box here. Let's do a non-X-Men character. I think everyone we've done so far have all had the X-Men trait. So let's do X-23 here. So X-23 is a leadership ally that came, I believe, in Bishop's Precon from the Age of Apocalypse, like big box expansion. She's a 3-cost ally, 1 thwart, 3 attack, 3 hit points, and has the X-Force trait instead of the X-Men trait. As a response, after she attacks and defeats an enemy, you can ready her back up. So, oh man, she is okay. So 3 costs. She has very good attack for being a 3-cost ally. A little bit under the curve in the thwarting ability, though, right? We want that 2-2 stat line, so it's pretty balanced still. But I do value the thwarting a little bit more than I value attacking. And then she has to defeat an enemy to ready her. So I think that she is not as good as M. I'm gonna put her for sure at least behind M. And for the rest, so I think weighing her against Wolverine, it would be Wolverine is better like over the course of a game because of his ability to heal himself, and X-23 is better like high impact. If she defeats a min, she can ready back up and then attack again or Thor or whatever. I think I will value the high tempo a little bit more here from X-23 because she is 1 cost cheaper. So yeah, I'll put her in a B tier above Wolverine and behind M.
Yep. I wonder why she didn't end up with piercing. I guess I would have made her 4 cost.
Yeah, maybe.
Yep, I agree with you. I mean, if I built a leadership deck, usually you're not thinking I need to attack. Maybe, I don't know. I don't build many of those decks, but if you're, yeah, situational, I definitely put her in depending on the villain you're going up against. If they're heavy on 3 or low cost, definitely put her in. But if you got another thing, not automatic. So yeah, I'm good with what you've done.
Okay, cool.
And the potential if you're all of a sudden everything went wrong, you got extra encounter cards, and now you've got 3 enemies in front of you. The potential for her to take them all out,
Yeah.
not readying,
That'll
would
put
be
like
pretty
AS.
sweet.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll keep her there.
Awesome.
All right, we'll go back alphabetically then. Which actually, what did I do? Cable. Yeah, why not throw him in the back already? So Cable calls to 4. Yeah, I'm getting these 4 calls out of the way. 3 health, 4 to 2, attack of 3 with 2 consequential, X force. Response after he thwarts and defeats a side scheme, draw a card. I mean, that ability, very situational to me. And for an ability and a 4-cost ally, I don't believe that's what I would want. I would want something more ready. But the fact that he's got some decent stats, he's definitely at least B tier. So I'm not going to put him in C and D because he's got good stats. That's for sure. Is he better than Blob? Where did or Glob? I keep calling him Blob.
Same
Next,
thing.
I'll be calling you Bub. So still 2 damage to an enemy. Yeah, that's very situational too. Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah, bottom of B. Glob's just a. If Cable just took 1 damage from that 3 attack, I'd put him better. But for the cost benefit, I think he's low B.
Yeah. Let's see. Cable here. So, I mean, I love Cable the hero. The
Yep.
ally, I've actually never played. I think that people are pretty high up on Cable, like in the community. I think people like him a lot.
Okay.
I think they'll probably agree with you to put him in the B tier. Uh, for me personally, so he thwarts and defeats a side team, you can draw a card. I'm gonna put him in the, I'm gonna put him in the C tier. I'm gonna waste my turn to
Whoa,
drop.
knocking
Yeah.
him down.
Yeah, I don't think he is good enough to be in the B tier. I think he's above Husk though, so definitely, not super low in the C tier. But what I would have liked to see with Cable is I would have liked this effect here to have synergy with his stat line. So maybe being a 3 thwart ally with even like 1 attack. I don't care about the attack on him, right? Because he's thwarting and defeating a side team. So if I play him, I'm not even using that attack. I want to thwart with him. That's the whole point of playing this expensive 4-cost ally. But he has better attack than he has a thwart, right? He only has 2 thwart. So if he was 3 thwart like Professor X, that would be really massive. He could thwart, defeat a side scheme, and then draw me a card, and the next turn he can thwart for me again. Even if he took like 2 consequential damage for thwarting, I would like that a lot. But having the effect kind of contradict his stat line. Like he has more attack than thwarting. He's Cable. He's like the side scheme master. So like that just
Hmm.
kind of like I feel like if I play him and then I thwart, I'm not getting full value. If I attack, I'm not getting full value anyways. And then being 4 cost, I feel like you really need to earn that cost. So I'm gonna bump down here to C tier. How do you feel
I
about
know
that?
it's just one spot, but you took him down,
Yeah,
and I agree. Yeah, I mean, you bringing that up, it just swapping those two stats and what the consequentials would make a lot more sense. All right. Well, that was definitely worth it for me. You barely moved him, and I get another turn. Let's see. Let's go with Sync. Let's get back on this basic train. So, cost of 3 with 3 health. 4 to 1, attack of 1. Play only if you have the X-Men traits. Interrupt when you use a basic power. Exhauster, you get +1 to that power for this use. So basically, if you put her in play, she's there to do something opposite of you or to help you and not take consequential damage, which I kind of like. Um, so then for me, it just comes, are we talking A or S? Let's see. What do we have going up here in our A tier? Do I think she's better than the little kid there? Um, yeah, she's definitely not triage level. I think I'll put her between the snow cone and what Kid Omega.
okay. Oh
Because
man.
I do love the. I mean, getting the same effect whether I exhaust her to take a consequential damage or just exhaust her to give your hero +1. And if you're trying to bump up your hero to meet some other condition, I kind of like that.
Yeah,
I feel like X-Men. I'm feeling like my favorite aspect is going to be choose one and just go all basic.
yeah. Yeah, no, that's kind of a big complaint from a lot of players for the X-Men waves is that the basic package is just so powerful. And whether you're playing a leadership or protection or an aggression deck or like whatever, they all feel a little bit similar because you want Utopia, you want the X-Jet, and then you want Beat Gambit Triage, right? So it's just they feel a little bit similar.
Mhm.
Yeah, for Sync here. Man, I'm gonna waste another turn. I don't
All
think that
right.
Sync is an A tier level ally. I'm gonna drop them into the
Oh,
B tier here. And okay, let me look at the ally card a little bit more. So the way that I'm looking at Sync is I think it is really good to be able to exhaust and then get +1 to your power, and then they don't take constant damage or anything, right? So effectively you can get that every single turn. But I don't want that clogging up one of my ally slots, right? So I'm comparing to like combat training or like heroic intuition, like an upgrade that you can just get +1 thwart or +1 attack. So if I get that and I get raised with my hero, I can use that constantly. For Sync, it's only for one activation that I get that +1, although I can't use it every single turn. So there's more versatility because I can use it to attack or thwart or even defense, right? You use it during the villain phase. But I think that it being 3 costs for that and clogging up an ally spot is not as good as just being an upgrade that's 2 costs and not clogging up the ally spot. So because of that, that's the main reason why I'm moving it down. And in the B tier here, I don't know. So, oh, man, I think that B tier is a fair spot for it. I like a lot of these ads a lot more actually. I'm gonna put Sync somewhere in this range here. I think above the Wolverine, but behind
did I
X23
mess
as
you
well.
up putting Rogue below Wolverine?
Yeah, I
Is that your conflict?
maybe you just saw that in my eyes because I was like, wait a minute, wait, why is shouldn't Rogue be here? Why is Yeah, I was like, wait, I feel like Rogue is better, right? But Wolverine is a little bit worse, so I don't. Yeah, that I was hesitant. I was like, wait, what's going on? Like, did I make this list or like, yeah, yeah. I think that's where I would put Sync.
Yep. Can't be upset with that. You've got a point for Costa 2. You get +1. I just like this. That 3 defense would all be would make sense. But then again, would I use If I went all basic, definitely yes. If I was actually building an aspect deck, would I go that deep to put her in? Probably not. So, all right. So I get another turn.
Man.
Well, we'll go back with my basics again with the two cost. Go with Maro or Marrow. So two cost ally with two health, 4-1, attack of two. Got to be X Force or X Men to use them. After Maro enters play, deal two damage to an enemy. You won't look so pretty once I get to you. All right, I even like the flavor text. Um, yeah, this is awesome. I mean, we all know my put them in, use them once, and defend with them. But the fact that you get to put him in, deal two damage, then attack for two. So I'm getting 4 attack and a defender. Um, low S. Yeah, I like the card better than Kid Omega. I like healing better than Morrow. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Oh man,
I
that's
see.
tough for
You're
me.
you're thinking again.
Yeah, that's a tough one for me. Ooh, so I'm inclined to drop Meryl, but is that just because you put them high and that's just kind of my instinctive reaction? I don't know. I didn't think Meryl was an S tier ally, but you make a really good point. What because that on play effect is really good, and it can still thwart or attack, right? So two damage is always gonna be useful because you can always just hit the villain for two, like ping a
Mhm.
little bit of damage. If it's a
Or take
minion,
out a toughness somewhere. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and if it's for like a minion, that's really good because then you can do like 4 damage and maybe knock out a mid-range type of level minion. I think I think this one I'm gonna be a little bit unfair for our criteria. I think the reason why I never play Meryl or like I barely ever play Meryl is because Meryl has the X Force trait, and
Mm.
we're not holding that against the ally, having the X-Force trait, but usually it's in X-Men decks, right? It's just in the X-Men decks, it triggering because you can play this card if you have the X-Force or the X-Men trait. So it's like for the stuff with Utopia and all that stuff, Marrow does not get that stuff online, so she is excluded from all the X-Men decks. But I want to include Marrow with the X-Men. So I feel like, but is that being unfair to Meryl? Let me know what you think. Is that unfair for me to hold the trait against his card because we are evaluating as if you're playing it, with
And
that.
it's ultimate. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I mean, I think that's totally fair. I mean, you're thinking a step higher than I am, or I'm just looking at the card, but you're thinking, well, if I'm making a deck, it's going to have these other things, and this doesn't help that one item.
yeah. I don't think I'm thinking a step ahead. I just know whenever I like have actually like build decks in it, I look at Meryl. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna put him in. So I think that's just where my thought is like from personally always excluding Marrow from my decks. I think that's kind of why. Because I'm like, if it's S tier, why do I never put it in my decks? And I don't put it in my X Force decks either. Like with when I'm playing Cable or when I'm playing X-23, I just never include this card, man. Based on what you said, I don't know why, because it's a really good card. So I'm conflicted right here if I should move it down.
Yeah,
Uh,
because most events are pay 2 to do 3 damage, but you're getting pay 2 to do 4 split.
okay, you know what? I'm
See,
not
now
gonna
I'm
move
trying
it.
to convince you.
Yeah, no, I think I'm not gonna move. I think that's to come in and do that. That is a really good. You know what? I'm gonna keep it here. Yeah, I think that's a good spot for Miro. I know I'm gonna move it down. I'm moving it down to A tier. I just can't. I can't. Yeah, so I'm
Your
just gonna go.
conscience can't handle it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go all in that. I never include this card when I'm building a deck. Like very seldom do I include this card. So I like Kid Omega more. I'm just gonna go all in. Snow Clone more. Cyclops more. Colossus more. I'm gonna put Miro at the bottom of the A tier. And it just kind of depends how much you care about that trait here. Because I feel like it just has anti-synergy with the X-Men decks that I want to include it in. I think Mero came in the Bishop, like a precon deck. Bishop is an X-Men. So like I didn't even put Mero in Bishop's deck because I'm like, man, come on, can you be an X-Men for me? So yeah, I'm gonna put him down here in the A tier, unfortunately.
Man,
Yeah, I feel
who
bad.
knew?
I'm
I
big.
thought we were on sync. Let's see. How do I get us back on sync? We'll go another basic card and see what we agree. I'm just picking cards. I have no idea what they're doing. I'm going white queen.
Okay.
So 3 cost with 3 health, got a 4-2, attack of 1. So right there, not hitting the curve. You can play her with X Force or X Men, like someone else I just put up there that you didn't like. Um, response: after she enters play, discard a status card from a character. That's an awesome ability, but very situational. So definitely not S tier. Yeah, I'm going B.
Okay.
But where do I put her in B? Yeah, I think, yeah, right below Rogue, I think. I'm not even going to try to conflict you. I'll just,
Put it in between Rogue and Wolverine.
yeah, because I definitely like Sync better. Yeah, I think that's a good spot.
Yeah,
I
I
mean, the stats are okay. The ability is great if needed, but yeah, I can, it comes down to it's probably going to be a resource unless I need someone to take a hit.
yeah. Yeah, no, I think I completely agree with the White Queen. I think we're back on the same page here, yeah. Because
All right.
White Queen, if you can get the response off, I think she's definitely, A tier, right? If you can discard a stun or a confuse without exhausting or get rid of a tough, I mean that goes in the A tier. But the fact that you have to have a status card in play to get full value out of her just makes it a little bit too situational. So yeah, she goes there for me.
Okay, you get a real turn.
Nice. Finally. Okay.
I know. I had to work hard for that. I want
Thank
to
you.
mess
Thank
with
you.
your cards now. Quit
Okay.
messing with mine.
Let's see. Just looking at all these allies here. One I really like is actually Phoenix here. So let's look at Phoenix. She's also from the Magneto hero pack. And if I remember correctly, you actually played her in your first playthrough with Magneto. So you have experience with her. You can yeah, I see what you think about
Mm,
it. So she's a 3 cost ally, 2 thwart, 1 attack, and 3 hit points. As a response
very
after
similar stat line to someone else we just looked at.
yeah, yeah. The exact same. But I think she's a little bit better. So response after Phoenix enters play, choose any X-Men ally, ready that ally, and heal 1 damage from it. So that I think that's super duper fun and powerful because that ally can activate, takes a consequence damage, Phoenix raises back up, and heals that consequence damage so that it can activate again for sure, even if it was down to its last activation. This can be so strong with like a Voltron build for like if you powered up your Yondu or your Bug, Phoenix could do a lot for that. Actually, well, maybe not because Yondu doesn't take consequence damage, and Bug can heal himself. But I think she's still a really cool ally. Is she gonna be A tier for me? She's definitely at least B. If she's in the B, I put her above North Star. I think she's really cool. And then is she an A tier level ally? Do I? How good? No, I think she's gonna go in the B tier, and I'm gonna put her above North Star. So the reason why is because I think that you have to have another ally in play. So if there is no ally, I'm just playing her to like maybe Thor for 2. If I get the ally, it's a little bit situational. But if I have the ally, she's 100% really worth it. Like if you have an ally, I think she's A tier. But because of that requirement to have that needing an ally for her to get full value, I'm gonna put it in B tier.
Let me think about this one. I really like that. I mean, something about just having the potential to get 2 turns out of a solid ally is huge. But this is where you moving my cards really messes it up because I don't know if I'd take him better than Morrow, but I like him better than the other people there.
I really messed that up, huh?
Yeah, this is a tough game, even though there's no points in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to let it stick.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, if you've got an ally, yeah, there's no reason not to do that.
Yeah. If it wasn't for me putting her there, would you put her in A tier?
Yep,
Yeah.
but I would have still been conflicted, and that's where I'm at. I'd put her at bottom of A because of the way things got moved
Yeah.
around. So to
Man.
go from bottom to A or top of B to bottom of A, that's not worth a turn.
Yeah, the thing with
That's
Meryl is my like diabolical plan because if I put one of your S tiers in the bottom of A, you're now blocked off from moving anyone up to A now because of Marrow. So
See, you've done this before. You know the
yeah.
strategies, and that's someone has learned something today.
Oh no.
Not to do tier list with you. No. Let's see. What am I looking at here? Well, we got one more leader. No, we don't. That's Phoenix I got in my hand. Um, we're keeping a lot in here. Let's go Shadow Cat. We'll get all these stat lines that are exactly the same out of the way. So cost of three, 3 health, 4 to 2, attack of 1. Play only if you're an X-Men. So the thing that matters, the text. After you play her from your hand, choose a side scheme in play. That scheme loses each of those 4 abilities that I forget the right terminology for all of them till the end of the round. That can save a game for someone. So I think I like that. Let's see, where are we at now? I want to B tier. Yeah, I think I would go above North Star. Yeah, so for me, it comes down to yes, situational, but it's save the game from losing situational, which I think helps boost it. I mean, you've got some things that are situational, like you say, with readying someone or uh, doing some other things. And of course, I'm putting her below the one that readies another character. So now I'm already rethinking. Yeah, let's move her top of B.
Top of B.
Yeah,
Okay. I
because
think
getting rid of that crisis icon and additional threat being added on and a potential scheme. And yeah, that can save a game for another turn to give you a chance.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't think it's A tier because it's still situational, but it's
Marrow.
game changing situational.
But also we have Marrow there blocking out that A tier, so
Yeah, I don't have to hold that against you. Well, not as much as the Venom thing, but
oh man. So yeah, I think that you make a really good point, and I completely agree. I think that for situational cards that can save a game to me are much more valuable than situational cards that can do more damage, right? So like we looked at Glob here. His situational
mhm.
effect is to do an extra damage. I That's not as important to me as blanking out a crisis icon for me to be able to remove threat from the main scheme and like not let that pop. So I'm on the same page like as you. Shadowcat similar to Glob, they're both situational, so they're both in the B tier. But she goes all the way in the top because yeah, I mean it can save a game. Yeah, like blanking out and Hazard too. I mean an extra encounter card could be really nasty. So yeah, I totally
Oh
agree.
yeah.
Yeah, nice. I thought you were gonna put her in the A tier based on what you're with the way you're hyping her up. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have to move her down.
Oh, yeah, it's like it comes. I can see the excitement in my face or the other people I'm playing with all of us going, there's no way we can last this round. And then someone goes, I've got something. I mean, it's one of those things where you're like, yeah, we got another turn. Don't
Yeah,
worry about it.
yeah, yeah. That's really cool. All right. So I get a turn here. We're getting down to the wire here. So I want to ask you for these 4 allies here, the new recruits, do you want to just like put them all in the same spot and then we can like discuss how we want to rearrange them because they're all pretty similar here.
Yeah. I think I was telling you before we started recording here, well, probably from our other video, I didn't know what linked was
Yeah.
or remember.
Yeah.
And I was like, these guys are awesome. And you're like, yeah, but you have to play this side scheme. And I'm like, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I totally agree, unless you're not putting them in S tier.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna use my turn to do the new recruits here. So
Okay.
to explain to anyone else that is also, retired and coming back or, new to the game,
New, yeah.
yeah, the way that these 4 allies work right here is that there are 2 class allies, but they are set aside when the game begins. And there's a leadership side scheme called New Recruits. It's a 0 cost to play and has 2 per player threat on it. If you clear off the side scheme, every player can grab one of these allies there and choose them and then put them to their hand. So it doesn't come straight into play, but you can get this ally into your hand. And after that, if you play the ally down and it gets defeated or you discard it, it goes back into your discard pile now. So now in your next deck pass, if you draw them back up, you can just play them straight from hand. So they're in your deck now after you clear off that new recruit's side scheme. So these allies to me, they are very powerful allies because of that, because of them being locked behind clearing off a side scheme first. So all of them have the exact same stat line, being 2 costs, 2 thwart, 2 attack, and having 2 hit points. But each one has a different effect, right? So this one, and they only have the effect if you are mutant or X-Men. So if you don't have that mutant or X-Men trait, they don't get the extra effect. Basically, a No has +1 thwart, Bling has toughness, Indra has +2 hit points, and Surge has +1 attack. So they all have like a different thing for a different situation depending on what you need more during that time. So I know that Dale told me before we start recording that he is really big on these allies and he thinks that they're really powerful. I'm gonna put all of them. I'm gonna. I don't know how he feels about this. I'm gonna put them all in the beginning of the B tier.
Whoa.
Yeah, and the reason why is because I am really holding that the fact that they're linked to a side scheme, I'm holding that against them a lot because I do not like that they are linked behind side scheme. If they were not, if this is just a regular ally that you can just put in your deck, definitely S tier for sure. Like I think all 4 I would put in the S tier, but because of that, I don't like that they're yeah, I just don't I feel like that needing to thwart out that side scheme makes you lose an extra activation. So if you're playing solo, you're throwing for 2, you could have just thought for 2 from like the main scheme or attack for whatever. And then when you play as ally, it's supposed to be very high tempo because it's a 2-cost ally, but you wasted the 2 thwart to thwart that side scheme like, initially, right? So throughout the course of a game, and if you use the ally up, it gets its card and you get it back in, it can be even better. But it's just very low tempo to me because I'm losing that initial thwart that I'm spending resources for when I could just be tackling on like the regular thing that I want to do, like damaging villain, defeating minions, or clearing threat off the main scheme. So yeah, I'm gonna put them in the B tier. And I think what would be let's see, should I order them too, or do you want to like move them up or down, and then we decide how we want to like what order we want to put them in?
Um, you've convinced me, and I totally agree. The fact that you've got to go leadership, go into a scheme, and if I'm playing solo, I get one of the 4. So yeah, I mean, I was super excited when I thought, ooh, you can just put them in your deck. Yes, S tier. But yeah, I mean, with the other things you have to do to get them, and the side scheme is like 2 per player, I
Yeah,
think, right?
yeah.
So, no, I agree with you. And as far as an order, I think it's very situational on what you're doing with your deck. So, I mean, I know for me, I feel like I went with the extra 2 health
Yeah,
because I was thinking defense. But depending on the character I was playing in the situation, any of them,
yeah. Okay.
I would probably put the toughness at the bottom, unless it
What?
was I knew I was
Okay.
going to take a hit.
I was just gonna say if you don't care for the order, then I'll rearrange them, and I would have put
Okay.
Bling, the toughness one, at the top. Yeah. So I guess we can just leave Bling like kind of in the middle
Yeah,
here.
you put them at the top. You got to force me to.
Oh, right, right, true, true. Okay, okay. So I'll put Bling. I think the toughness is the most valuable, and then I think thwarting is next most valuable, and then I'll put the extra hit points. I think I'm actually gonna put Surge above Indra, the one that you picked for your gameplay where you cleared off the new recruits. Because Indra, I feel like it's just too low tempo. The extra hit points are good, but I only get value out of that after activating for like 3 turns. And if I need a blocker after activating Indra, he's gonna have to block right away, and then I don't get any value. I don't get the extra thwart or extra attack from the other ones. So I think the tough is the best, and then the thwarting is next, and then the extra attack, and then the extra hit points.
And I am completely the opposite, but I'm not wasting my turn.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, I would. I mean, both of us go heavy with allies. I think we've come out and said I usually shoot for 6,
I usually go for
and you
8.
shoot for 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, I'm thinking I should be able to use him for the full 4 turns.
Hmm.
But like you mentioned with another one, you don't want to keep that taking up an ally slot of something better. So you might be forced to, I'm going to attack with him and then put in this other ally and just kick him out kind of deal. So
Yeah.
yeah, I can see that.
I do want to add, I kind of glossed over it, but each one does not count towards your ally limit. So you can just
Oh,
leave
that's
him in
right.
play.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess that would make injury even better for you because you can just leave him there.
Yep.
He's not clogging up that spot. Yeah.
Yep. Agreed. All right.
Okay. Oh, I did want to ask you, if I did not put them in B tier, where would you put them? I know that you ended up agreeing, so would you also just put them here in the B tier?
After you bringing up yeah, I mean, being forced, well, like I said, I played with Magneto and that card was automatically in there. So I wanted to play his original thing. I don't play leadership much, but I think if I did, I can almost see doing that. I would probably, if I was playing two handed or playing multiplayer, I would be more excited about doing it. But I think you're right. B tier is probably the best spot for it
Awesome.
because there's probably a lot of other options to go to before you get to that point.
Yeah.
And that lets me keep my turn.
Yeah. That's the most important thing.
Yep. All right. Let's finish out the basic ones. We'll go with Legion.
Okay.
Cost of 3, health of 3, thwart of 1, attack of 1. So stat line, not the best. So the abilities. After Legion uses a basic power, discard the top card of your deck. If that card's printed resource has energy, deal 2 damage to an enemy. Always helpful. Uh, remove 2 threat from a scheme if it's mental. Most of the time, probably going to be helpful. Physical, heal 2 damage from Legion. Well, I like the randomness of this card. I know that's probably a downside to many people, but I kind of like it. So I'm definitely thinking B tier.
Okay.
Even for me liking something weird like this, I don't think it deserves to go to A for me unless I'm going all basic. Um, but where?
Man, our B tier is big.
Yeah, but just because, yeah. Let's see. Better than X23, too consistent. I think we're going behind Rogue again.
Okay.
I'll keep consistent to where we just get to where the stat lines don't make sense. But I like the randomness.
Yeah.
I mean, unless someone's got retaliate, you always feel happy to attack. Generally, there's always going to be at least 1 or 2 thwart to get rid of, and except for the turn you put him in play, he'll always have some health to heal. So
Yeah. Yeah. Legion is a tough one to rank, but I think I would agree with this ranking for him. One thing that's really cool that I do like about him is that if you have like a double resource, like for Magneto, he has his
oh
Master
yeah,
Magnetism, which is a mental and energy. So if you discard that with Legion, you can do 2 damage and remove 2 threat from the scheme, which is really, really cool.
and Bishop and someone else has those mixed double resources too, don't they?
Yeah, I think
Or is
Jubilee.
that the new Black Panther too?
Oh no, the new Black Panther has the Vibranium, so Sam's the old one, which is the double
Okay,
wilds. Yeah.
okay,
So one thing that I hate with Legion is discarding a wild because then he does nothing and he just makes you lose a wild
mm-hmm.
resource, which usually the cards that have the wild resource icon are pretty good cards that you don't want to get discarded. But yeah, I mean overall I think that he's a solid card. He's nothing like amazing, and in certain situations he can be a lot better if you build around him. I think he's really good as well. So yeah, I think B tier here is solid.
Yeah, but I can definitely see someone going C or D with him. It's
Yeah.
just it's kind of like the Hulk. It's that surprise at the table of going, I really need to thwart, and then it's like,
Yeah. Or he kills everybody and you're like, dang it.
hmm
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, or it's Wiccan. That's the card. I put him in a lot of my decks, and Troy, who I play with a lot, it seems like I'm about 90% on when I flip that card, he does 0
Yeah.
damage. So
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I keep putting him in there.
Yeah, I have playthroughs on my channel where I'm using Wiccan. So after he activates, you discard top card of the or after he thwarts, you discard top card of the encounter deck, and then you do damage to enemy equal to the boost icons on that card, right? So
Hmm.
I'll get like 1 or 2 boosts, and then people will comment all the time. They'll be like, "Oh, how did you do that? I whiff every time. I get a 0 boost all the time." So I think when you said that, a lot of people are definitely like, "Yeah, yeah, Dale, me too," because yeah, he's one of those
Yep.
cards. Yeah,
But it's worth the shot. All
yeah.
right. So you agreed with me. You get a real turn.
Yeah, and for Legion here, I purposely did not want to rank him because I don't. I think he's a tough one. I don't know where I would put him, like C or B. Just what you're saying. So I'm glad you used your turn for that. So now I don't have to do anything with Legion.
Okay. You're
Yeah,
welcome.
yeah.
See,
Thank
I'm
you.
not a terrible host,
You're a
even
great
though you're
host.
doing all the work behind the scenes.
No, what do you mean? You're the one moving the mouse and stuff.
Watch this. I can do it mentally.
Whoa.
Thank you. Yeah, that's amazing. You saved me.
Okay, let's. What? It's. We have three aggression allies here. That's crazy. I think it's the thing that you like to do whenever I pick a justice one, you're like, let's just knock them all out. Or I pick a protection, you're like, let's knock them all out. That's funny that you
Yeah.
think like that, because for me, I'm like, let's spread them out. I'm gonna do aggression next after he does like protection. It's funny.
Well, another part of that too is I don't know what your favorite aspect is, but for me, it's aggression. So I want to keep you in check on this. No.
Yeah, no, my
Even
favorite.
though I honestly couldn't name Dark Girl, that's probably the only one I've really read. So
Yeah, my favorite aspect is a justice. So you knock those out like really quick. Um,
both of them.
Yeah, yeah. But for me, I mean, both of these guys, these Justice allies, I don't think they're my favorite allies in this wave. So
Mhm.
I'm not too mad at where you put them and stuff. So yeah. Okay, I'm gonna let's go with these are hard. I don't want to do the hard ones. I'm gonna do an easy one. So I'm gonna leave the more difficult ones for you to handle that for us. So I'm gonna do Day Tripper. She is Nightcrawler's identity specific ally. I don't know who she is. I don't know who Amanda is that I can't read that. I don't know
Deception.
who she is to Nightcrawler, but she's really good in the game Marvel Champions. So she's a 2 cost ally, 2 thwart, 2 attack, and 2 hit points. She has a Mystic trait,
Yeah,
which is
great
really cool.
stat line.
Yeah, yeah. Activate and block. As a response, after she enters play, you can search your deck and discard pile for a copy of Banff, attach it to an enemy, then do 1 damage to each enemy with a copy of Banff attached. So for people that don't know, Nightcrawler plays with I think it's 3 copies of Banff in his deck, and it's a 0 cost upgrade that you can just give to an enemy, but you have to draw them up in order to do anything with them. Day Tripper will tutor it, and it will activate 100% of the time because she looks through your deck and discard pile, so you can pretty much get it up like every single time. You give it to any enemy, and then deal 1 damage to each enemy with a copy of Banff. So if Nightcrawler already gave Banff to a bunch of minions, she'll still do damage to all of them, but also to one enemy that she put a Banff on. So she's always at least 1 damage because you can just put it on the villain and do a damage to it. And it's also non-attack, so it bypasses stuff like guard, which is really nice. And she can activate for 2 thwart to attack, which is insane. So having the styling alone, I think already puts her in the A tier. Just like Kid Omega, right? Two, like all across. And having that powerful effect, the effect is not as good as a stat line, but putting a Banff on enemy is actually really useful for Nightcrawler because then he doesn't have to put it on himself. It's kind of an extra resource for him because all of his cards revolve around that Banff. So I think that she goes above Marrow for sure. I don't know you have a reaction to that. I think I'll put her above Cyclops. I think she's better than Snow Clone here. Is she as good as Kid Omega? I like her more than Kid Omega, and now I'm kind of deciding if I should put her in the S tier. So the reason I like her more than Kid Omega is because Kid Omega requires I spend an extra resource, which makes him kind of 3 costs. And she's always just going to be 2 costs and can do and function in that same way, like having that extra effect, just being 2 cost ally. I think she's not as good as these guys, so A tier for me, but definitely in the top of A.
Okay. I agreed with your first comment. Better than Marrow. And you know where
Oh,
I'll put him to start with.
oh wow. Okay,
But wasting my turn to go from top of A to bottom of S, mm, that's tricksy. I don't think I'm doing that.
okay.
But if you would have put it a little bit lower, I would have wasted my turn.
I see. I think the trick with you is if I just put something at the top of A or like at the end of A, you will not move. You're just gonna leave it there because you're just like I don't want to move one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've gotten you to do that at least once.
Yeah, yeah. For
But
me,
yeah, me, I haven't played Nightcrawler. I do remember the Banff being something you want attached and his other cards triggering off of it and it being 0 cost. So you want to draw it, play it which means you lose your resource, so you're down to 4 cards. So for her to spend 2 to get a powerful 2 cost in play, go searching, whether you have BAMs in your hand or not, for a different one. I love that.
Yeah, that's really good.
So yeah, I need to get that one played along with Iceman. I'm so far behind. Okay. Well, I'm going to go with Randall. So a 3 cost for 3 health, 2 thwart, 1 attack. Action, discard a resource card from your hand to ready Randall. If that card has the printed energy icon, heal a damage from Randall. From your hand. Then you've got to be playing Bishop to get this in play. Which I know him from the X-Men, but not from this game. So that's automatically going to put him in B tier for me. Because I definitely don't think he competes with that. And you know what you did with Marrow. Man, you're good at this game. All right, so along B tier, where would I put this fella? Yeah, you can just drop him there, and then I'll see if I think I'm gonna put him right in front of White Queen. No, put him in front of Legion.
Okay.
So between Legion and Rogue.
Okay.
Yep.
Hmm.
I mean, the stats with the auto heal, you can keep him around longer.
Yeah.
I don't know how the rest of Bishop's kit works. I know he's about having a whole bunch of energy in play, but that's all I can remember of how he's supposed to work.
Yeah.
Um, so I think he's average.
Okay. I do want to say thank you, Dale, for doing this challenge, not having played a lot of these cards, so it's very difficult for you to evaluate them. I think that Randall was a really hard one, I think, to evaluate, so that's why I didn't want to touch him. But based on where you put him, I think I would agree. I think that he's good for Bishop because Bishop has a lot of resource cards in his deck, and basically, Bishop's deck, a lot of people run like 10 or more resource cards. I personally
Okay.
just like to run 8, but I think that even then you can get cluttered with a hand of only resource cards. So Rando is really good as a resource sink for that. Um, I, the thing with him is I run all doubles with a bishop. So if I'm discarding a resource card, it has to be a resource card. If it has the energy icon, I mean, it's not just gonna be one resource, it's 2 resources because it's a double that I'm pitching for Randall's effect that I could use to pay for, one of those amazing 2 cost allies like Beak that we talked about earlier. So that's why I wouldn't like put Randall in the S tier. But being able to come in Thor for 2, ready him, Thor for 2 again, I think it's really good. Potentially Thor for 4. So I think if it was
Mm-hmm.
up to me, I probably would have put him maybe low A or high B, but I'm not gonna waste my think on that just because I think it's arguable to put him like where you put him, and I'm not mad where you put him. Yeah.
Well,
S-
good. Because after your discussion, I was like, yeah, I should have put him below Legion, but
Oh, really? Okay.
I've already made my yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going
Yeah,
to
that comes down. I need to play Bishop and
yeah
see what he can do.
yeah. I think these guys are hard. So I guess I'll do the other one. I'll do Bishop's other identity specific ally, which is Malcolm, just to make things easier for you, and it's easier for me to do it because I already know where you put Randall, and he goes behind Randall for me. But I'm gonna put him. The thing is, okay. I think Reno is way better than Malcolm, not just a little bit better. Uh, so would I drop Malcolm even more? But the thing is, no,
Can you read his stats?
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave Malcolm here. So he's the exact
Okay.
same effect as Rando, and but different stat line. So instead of being 2 thwart 1 attack, Malcolm is
Okay.
1 thwart 2 attack. As an action, discard a resource card from your hand. Ready up Malcolm. If it has a physical icon, heal 1 damage from Malcolm.
Okay.
Yeah, so pretty much the same thing. So most of the time, unless you have resource cards that aren't doubles, then you're usually gonna be spending a double resource to give Malcolm, that ready. And if it has the physical, he can heal with damage from him. But being able to swing for 4 on 1 turn to me is not as valuable as being able to Thor for 4 and having that burst thwart. So I think he's not as good as Rando, and I'll just put him here right behind Rando, just because it's hard for me to evaluate if he's better than Legion or these other allies here.
while you think about that, let me ask you a question on Bishop. If you remember,
Yeah.
does his double resource cards go mixed? So could you have both of those in play and play one resource to
Yeah.
trigger both of them?
Oh, no, no. So his double resource are mixed, but you cannot, because each one is an action, so you have to do one action at a time.
Okay,
Yeah, so
yeah. All
unfortunately,
right.
unfortunately, you have to do the double for just Randall or just Malcolm, and not both at once. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we got three more. We're getting down to the wire.
All right. So are you good with that final placement?
Yeah, yeah. Or
Okay. All right.
yeah,
Wow, B went to a second line.
yeah.
We need some C and D's.
Or
All
more
right, let's
B's
go
to make it
Shark
look better.
Girl.
Okay, Shark Girl.
Just because I'm not saying it's C or D. It's just I like the name. So we're back in my world of 2 cost for 2 health, 0 thwart, but can thwart if you can do something about that. 2 attack. While she is attacking an enemy, she gets +1 attack for each upgrade attached to that enemy. And we've already talked about 2 characters that like putting upgrades on people. So, I mean, it's auto B. I definitely like it better than the Shark Girl, cost of 2. I think I'm going to move between North Star and Phoenix.
Okay.
And let me double check before you say anything to see if I'm.
Oh, let's see.
Yeah, I like the abilities of the ones above. And just because of the cost. Yep, I'm good with that.
Okay. Let me see. What do I think? Shark Girl, 2 cost ally. I think that being 2 cost alone is good enough to put her in the B tier, I think. And I think a lot of people don't like that, but that's how you and me play. Being 2 cost is very, very
Yeah,
good.
I know a lot of people might look at that and go, no, but to me, it's the way I build aggression. I just,
Yeah.
even the 0 thwart is kind of like, I don't care.
Yeah. To me, I care about the 0 thwart. I'm like, man, come on, just give me 1 thwart. You can power it up, but I'm never gonna power up her thwart. The extra attack though is very nice. It's very contingent on having an upgrade attached. I'm not gonna move her. If I were to want to place her, I would probably place her, I think, around Glob, like, because I think they're very similar. So I'd probably put her maybe above, for sure above Glob, but maybe like behind Legion and White Queen, just because I think it's very situational to have upgrades, like a lot of upgrades attached. But if you build out like that type of way and you put a bunch of upgrades on one enemy, like Iceman can put all 6 of his ice frostbites on one enemy, then Shark Girl is swinging for 8 damage. So in that case, she's like
Mm.
A tier, S tier. But I think that's just way too difficult, and it's probably only gonna be Iceman that can get her that high up. But yeah, I think overall I'm not mad at this spot first. So yeah, I think she'll just go there for me too.
Yeah, and to me, I mean, if I don't care about the X-Men trait, there's a lot other aggression cards I'd use. But if I was trying to stay a little thematic, that's definitely one that would go in
Yeah,
an aggression build for me.
yeah,
All right, you get to pick our last cards, maybe, if I agree with you.
yeah,
There's a chance you can do both of them.
yeah. Okay, I just like put like one of them in the D tier and see and make you move it. Okay, so we have Gold Balls and Tempest. Which one do I want to do? I'm gonna do Tempest. I'm gonna leave Gold Balls for you. So Tempest is a 2 cost ally, 1 thwart, 1 attack, 2 hit points. Play only if your identity has the X-Men trait. As an interrupt, so you can use an alter ego or hero form. When the villain would scheme, you can discard Tempest, cancel the activation, and deal yourself a face down encounter card. So she's a little bit similar to a Black Widow from Protection from the core set, except she's cheaper to play, only being 2 costs to Black Widow 3, but you have to discard her entirely. But she can cancel a scheme activation, so it doesn't have to be like an encounter card. It can just be like an advanced like encounter card or just the regular scheme that the villain normally does. But you get an encounter card, so you're either cycling through an encounter card like cancel an advance to get another encounter card, or you're just getting a straight up encounter card if the villain is scheming in the regular activation phase. So she goes in the B tier for me. I thought she would be A tier when I initially saw her, but getting the extra encounter card, if it's an advance, it's like, man, like I cancel an advance and get an advance, like that just like cancel her effect out.
Mm-hmm.
She's 2 cost though, so you know, I mean, that's definitely B tier worthy. I put her above a lot of these cards. I think I'm gonna put her behind Randall and Malcolm, and maybe wait, how do I put them here? Okay, I'm put her behind Randall and Malcolm, but above Legion and White Queen. Mostly because of her stat line, and it is a useful effect. It's a little bit more situational than I would like, because you have to balance out if that extra encounter card is gonna be worse than that scheme. And sometimes, depending on the scenario, it could be not bad at all. But against like Ronin or like Venom Goblin, it could be it'll probably be worse than like just an extra scheme activation. So I think that because of that, I'm gonna put her in B tier, but definitely near the end of B tier.
Yep, that's always a tough decision. It's kind of, do you get rid of one encounter card to get a worse one? So unless it's Shadows of the Past, I will usually let it go because it only takes one time to get rid of an encounter card and have encounter or shadows replace it
Yeah,
for you to go. I'm never doing that again.
yeah.
All right, yeah, I'm not going to mess with that. I totally
Okay.
agree. Um, we'll see how many people disagree with our thoughts on 2 cost allies, but I mean, if they've got an average stat line and an ability that, even if it is situational, it's hard to argue with that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess you have left me with Gold Balls, also known as Fabio Medina. All right, cost of 3 with 3 health, 4-1 attack of 1. Not what we would normally say is good stats. So X-Man Interrupt, when he attacks, discard up to 3 cards from the top of your deck. He gets plus X attack for this attack, where X is the number of cards discarded this way. So he can hit for potentially 4. So if you built your deck around milling, it could be good. And he didn't choose the name. That's some great flavor text there. He gets bonus points for that. Um, let's end on controversy. Let's put him on top of C.
What? On top of C. Okay.
Is that why you left it for me? Because you didn't want to make the decision?
I just thought his flavor text and his name is funny, so I was like, I'll let Dale do this one.
Hey, we even agree on names and flavor text. No, I can't see a reason why I would put this card in a deck. Um, yeah, just going through milling your deck for no good reason. I mean, Magneto, yes, I will happily do that because depending on how you build your deck, you can potentially get things back out. Um, Venom, I will gladly go through half my deck. I've gone through almost my whole deck searching because when you get your, well, I have gone through my whole deck. I've had my initial hand be all 3 guns that I have in my deck and go discard pile, get the encounter card, reshuffle. But to me, if I get those 3 cards and I can get them in play the first turn, I'll take that. But Gold Balls doesn't give me a purpose to do that. So, yeah, I feel good with the C.
Okay.
I can even see someone putting him in D.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay, before I say what I'm gonna do, I want to maybe like make an argument for him and then see if you want to move
Okay.
him after that. So, from what I know, and I'm not the biggest Go Balls fan, but I know that the community loves Go Balls a lot.
Oh,
Yeah. And basically, I mean, when he attacks with no other resources, he can swing for 4, you know, every single activation. So he can do 12 damage throughout 3 turns. Every single time he attacks, you discard 3 cards from your deck. And he's a 4 attack swing ally. Is this any and then like if you look at like other cards, like Glob, he can on play do 4 damage for just that 1 turn. Um doing 2 damage to enemy with upgrade and then swinging for 2. So would you still have gold balls here after I compare him to like Glob?
I feel like you have a turn. I want to know where you'd put him.
Okay.
Would you take him to A, or would you start there?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put him where I would put him then. So I'm gonna bump him up to B. I'm bumping up to B, and let me see. Let me see where I would put him, and then I'll answer your question. So gold balls. I think he's definitely a B tier out. I think he's better than Glob. I think he is. I think he's gonna be about right here behind Tempest, and I'm gonna put him above Legion for me. So I think I could be wrong because I'm often wrong about stuff like this. I think that the community would have him in the A tier, and just being able
Okay.
to swing for four 3 times is really nice. And, that is a very strong type
Yeah.
of effect. You raise a really good point, and that's one of my biggest things too whenever I'm playing Marvel Champions. I'm not trying to mill my deck, and that's why I would personally have Gold Balls in the B tier anyways, even if I was the one like that initially put him. And I thought you would put him, in the A tier or the S tier because you're a Venom lover, so you have no problems milling your deck. And yeah, milling my deck, I think it's good sometimes, like in the case of Magneto, because he gets a big upside to milling his deck with his cape and adding a resource to your hand. But other than that, I don't think playing a 3-cost ally and having him mill essentially it's gonna be 3 cards every single time because I want to get the full attack value. I don't think that's worth it to do all of that. And obviously, it is really good in a big final push if you can ready him like 2 times. He can do all that 12 damage, with just that 3 cost. So there is value in that. But I think the downside of milling your deck is something that I am very fearful of when I'm playing Mario Champions. So I actually agree with you. I think you make a really good point. I still put him a little bit higher than C. I do want to ask, would you would you actually put him in B though? Because you said like you're just gonna be controversial and put him in C. So was that to like make me move him up?
Um. No. So many times, even with Magneto, even though I love his ability because you've got several other cards that trigger off that, so you're getting some. I mean, if you can ready and get bonuses to attack, defense, or thwart, those things even out in my mind. I don't know if the math works out, but in my mind, I've convinced myself it does. But with him, with my luck, I think we were talking too, and that was one. Even before I played Magneto, from our previous discussion, I was thinking, okay, yeah, I can see that you go searching for a magnetic card and there go all your allies. That's the reason why I swapped those 2 cards out for the allies I did. Going, well, I can always get this out of my discard pile, so I always have access. So to discard 3 cards and then go, oh no, those those 3 were key cards for my deck.
Yeah.
I feel like I would be sadder than happy with the 4 attack he would be doing. But like, I mean, it's situational. So yeah, I can see in game if you've got a way to ready allies to hit for 8,
Yeah.
definitely makes sense. Early game, you can go, well, I've got to go through my deck again to have a chance of getting that card,
Yeah.
unless you've got a tutor for it. But yeah, I mean, I can see why some people would love it. And I still don't see me. It's going to take some plays to go, man, I wish I had this card in my deck before I put it in a deck.
Yeah.
But at least this goes back to our previous point of the discussion has brought it out where normally I would look at that card and go, yeah, I'm not risking it. So now I can be in the middle of a game going, you know what? If I had that guy, I would definitely pitch 3 cards right now to
Yeah.
do that damage. So I think that's the greatest benefit of this, whether people agree where we put stuff or not.
Yeah. Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
to bring let people be aware of some cards that we haven't done.
Yeah.
So other than Colossus, I mean, what was the biggest move that I did that you're like, oh man, why'd you do that?
I to be honest, I feel like I'm pretty good with all of your selections. I didn't think anything was crazy. I guess, man, maybe the Marrow had the biggest reaction from me in terms of like I
Mm,
was like, oh snap, Marrow in S tier. But you made a really good point for why Marrow belongs there. So I don't know what the community would think about where you put Marrow because I think maybe they might agree with you actually because I do think people like Marrow a lot. I think maybe I'm just like kind of biased against Marrow and giving them a hard time because they don't have the X-Men trait, which might be a little bit unfair, to be honest. But that'll be my biggest like knee-jerk reaction. I was like, what? S tier for this guy, for this card? Yeah. So yeah,
Well, I mean, it makes sense if you're doing team building and he doesn't have the X-Men trait or other abilities that you really want to trigger off X-Men. Yeah, he's definitely not going to make the deck.
yeah,
So it totally makes sense
yeah.
for doing that. And yeah, it's Wolverine's going to be Wolverine, Magneto, Batman. I mean, certain cards or themes are always going to, there's going to be that, I can't do that to my guy.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's totally fair. So would you say for you the biggest like thing you're like, what is he doing was when I moved whenever I moved Wolverine down?
oh, no. Yeah, I mean, it's a 4 cost, and I haven't played with him. I don't play many 4 cost allies.
Yeah.
I mean, Yondu was kind of one of those allies that's like, I don't play 4 cost and I don't do um, leadership, but it's like, I want to build a deck around this guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a second, I want to build a deck around Bug. And it was like, Spider Woman. Yes. So I'm excited to get a lot of these to the table.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Overall, how do you feel about this list? Like, do you think this is would you if you're making a list by yourself, would you feel like this is like, oh, this is pretty solid? Or you're like, man, like what warrior like messed up everything I wanted?
oh no, I mean, I agree with what you were saying earlier with some people saying the basic cards really stand out. And of course, I mean, I'm always looking at a bell curve. So yes, B should have the most, but our S and A definitely seems better than the C and D, which makes sense because we're paying money for a game. We don't want to go, oh man,
Yeah.
how come we have 10 cards in C and 15 in D? And yeah, that's not good for the game.
Yeah.
And then also making a list like this, someone is going to take our solo D character and put him in a deck and make him awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's another great thing about the game is like, this guy's good and it can be proven. Yeah, this is all personal and yeah, very excited about it. And thanks so much for joining me on this and giving me the opportunity. I mean, I don't do much of these tier lists, but they do start a great discussion. So definitely, if people watching this have not been to your channel, definitely head over there, hit some likes and some subscribes. You've got a lot of hard playthroughs. You take the big characters on expert with not always the most ideal decks because you take lists from subscribers and members. They'll give you suggestions and you're like, yeah, I'll give that a try, and usually come up on top. You do a lot more tier lists, so definitely a lot of stuff over there to check out. Anything else before we say good night or
No,
good morning wherever people are?
yeah, that was more than yeah what I would have said. Thank you so much, Dale. Yeah, I'm only on YouTube as WEB-WARRIOR Fanatic, and yeah, I'm so grateful to Dale. Thank you so much for having me on the channel. This was super duper fun. I thought this would be like an hour long because we had like 32 allies. I have no clue what the time is at right now. Maybe it's like it was for sure over 2 hours. But yeah, that flew by. That was a lot of fun. Thank you so much, Dale, for having me on.
Yep. So as always, I hope people enjoyed this video. So please click on the like button below and be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.